Hi, my name is Anne Russell and I'm from the Russell Family Fetal Alcohol Disorders Association. The RFFADA is a national organisation. We support parents and carers and lobby for more support for FASD in Australia. This is another in the series of videos that I do on Fridays. It's called FASD Fridays. And this week we're going to talk about stealing and ownership in people with FASD. Ownership and stealing are abstract concepts to a child with FASD, and therefore, therefore difficult, if not impossible, for them to connect the two. The brain damage is the result of prenatal exposure to alcohol lasts a lifetime. So it may be that this lack of understanding of the connection between ownership and stealing lasts a lifetime as well. It's very common in children with FASD. Not every child will steal or have trouble with ownership. Some will steal sometimes, and others it can be just a compulsion. And when I say stealing, I don't mean that stealing is what the children with FASD actually do or actually think about, and I'll explain this a little later. The lack of understanding about the concept of ownership in children with FASD is related to the neurological damage that occurs. Most particularly, it's the executive functioning, which, amongst other things, helps us to make good decisions and solve problems. The understanding of a child with FASD goes like this. If a wallet is sitting on the table, it doesn't belong to anyone. If it did belong to somebody, it would be in their pocket or they would be holding it. As an item that doesn't belong to anyone, it's available for anyone who wants it. So if a child with FASD wants something that might belong, it might be in a wallet, and it's on the table, then it's for anyone to take. This apparent theft of somebody else's wallet can come even after they've repeated the rules about not taking anything that isn't theirs. And this is due to the damage to the corpus callosum. They say that they know that they're not supposed to take anything that doesn't belong to them, and then you find $50 missing from your purse. The ability to repeat the rules but not put them into action is related to the neurological damage. Any stealing should come with consequences, even though it may be difficult for children to understand consequences on their own, we know that, but if they are applied, it may one day become a well-known result of taking something rather than an executive functioning process that tells us not to take anything that doesn't belong to us. Of course, if we do that, we know that we might get into trouble. Even though I think consequences should be applied, it's important that we are reasonable about those consequences. We must always have in the back of our mind that there is a neurological problem and that it's a can't, not a won't situation for a child with FASD. Along with applying reasonable consequences for stealing, we must understand that our children's brains will not change. What must change is the environment. Everyone who is part of the child's life must understand that it is their responsibility to keep money out of reach and children supervised. Yes, it can be very embarrassing to have a child who steals or who isn't aware of ownership, but we all need to provide an environment where the child is not set up for failure, and the only way to do that is to ensure that everyone is aware of this problem. We are neurotypical adults. If we continually do the same thing, leave our bags or wallets out, and expect to get a different result from our child who's got FASD, then we're the ones who are not thinking properly. Children with FASD need to have a responsible person helping them make a decision, what Sterling Claren calls an external brain. Some children need many external brains: teachers, friends, other parents, family members, special friends. Anyone can help a child with FASD make an appropriate decision or make a decision not to take something that isn't theirs. You might find that sometimes a child doesn't steal something that's left out, and you may think, at last my son or daughter has understood the concept of ownership. However, this could be the result of the FASD brain working sometimes and not working other times. So don't then start to leave out things that the child is now, thinking that the child is now cured. Remember, this is a can't do rather than a won't do. That's a very important thing to keep to remember as a parent. Children with FASD also have powerful impulses. They are the here and now, concrete and immediate people. When a child with FASD takes something that doesn't belong to them, it could be due to any or all of the following. They may take something and then lie because they're afraid of getting into trouble. They've forgotten they actually took the item. They may think it has actually been given to them. They may take something because they want it. They may believe, and as I said earlier, that if a person is holding onto the item, it is theirs. If it's on the table, it doesn't belong to anyone. FASD makes it difficult for people to understand the concept of personal ownership. If they don't understand that concept, then they don't understand that taking someone else's stuff is actually stealing. Because each day is a new day and they're hooked into the here and now, the child may actually forget that they have taken an item and believe it's theirs. So there's many reasons that a child might do this thing that we call stealing. Most children and teenagers with FASD will take something that doesn't belong to them at least once while they're growing up. But for those children who steal regularly, be patient. Ownership is hard for a child with FAS to learn for all the reasons above. While interventions do not work with every child because they're all different, try these tips. If your child is taking something that isn't theirs, try asking them how they might feel if someone had taken their favourite toy and they could never play with it again. Even though children with FASD are unable to apply consequences to an action, there should always be consequences for stealing. Otherwise, it could lead to more serious problems later on with the police. Make sure that they return the item with an apology. If your child regularly has trouble with the concept of ownership, label everything with a sticker with the name of their name or someone else's name or whoever belongs to that item. If there are neurotypical siblings in the house, do that for them as well. This can be the same method that's applied. Don't argue with the child if they're caught stealing. Children with FASD need immediate rewards and punishment. So this needs to be done immediately. You find that the child has taken an item that doesn't belong to them. Supervision is critical. Teenagers going to the shops on their own could result in nasty consequences if they have a propensity for misunderstanding ownership. For children and teenagers with FASD, real stealing occurs when the item that is stolen is together with someone. In their pocket, on their person, in their bag, as long as the bag's being held by that person. If the bag's on the table, the same thing applies as the wallet. So, if you have any questions, you can find me on the Russell Family Fetal Alcohol Disorders Association Facebook group, or you can ring me on 0412 550 540. Next week, I've had a request to talk about rewards and punishment. If you or your organisation would like professional, up-to-date training on FASD, please let me know on the number above, or email is Elizabeth, ELIZABETH, @rffada.org. Don't forget to press the subscribe button on your phone to subscribe to this channel. Thanks very much.